Now, I'm going to introduce Reverend Beverly again and ask you to join her in meditation. Beverly, you are on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be with you all today. I meet with Reverend Jennifer every single month. Most months. Sometimes she's traveling. And I've really enjoyed my getting to know her and my interactions with her. And I appreciate you inviting me to speak with you today. So, if you will, in preparation for meditation, just uncross your hands and your feet. Let both of your feet be on the floor and let your back be straight, your spine, and you might even imagine you have a little cord from the base of your spine up through the crown of your head, just folding you straight. And for me, I like to lift my shoulders up, pull them back, and drop them down. That opens up that heart center. And if you're comfortable closing your outer eyes, do that now. And together, let's take a deep breath in and release. Another deep breath in, a little pause at the top, and a slow release. The breath connects us mind, body, and spirit. And it connects us one with another in this now moment. Allow yourself to feel that connectivity. That connectivity within and all around. Bring your attention to your breath. Notice as it's entering your nostrils. As you breathe in, it's a little bit cool. And as you breathe out, it's just a little bit warmer. Breathing in, cooler. And breathing out, warmer. Now begin to follow your breath as it moves deeper and deeper within to the very center of your being, your secret place of the Most High. You've been here before. It's where you began. It's where you know the truth of your being. You are love. You are joy. And you are peace. Notice as this truth permeates every cell of your being, connecting your mind and your heart, opening. In this moment, you are both being love, joy, and peace, and receiving love, joy, and peace. We'll take a moment in the silence to allow this feeling to grow and to expand into the very truth of our being. Once again, let's take a deep breath in and release. With that breath, we bring our attention back to this moment and this time, fully connected, fully aware of our presence and our beingness and our oneness. For this and so much more, we are so grateful. We simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. And when you're ready, just move your feet a little and your hands and become aware of your physical being. All right, well, let's start with the slides, if you will. I know that Reverend Jennifer's been speaking from Charles Fillmore's book, The Atom-Smashing Power of Mind. And so my topic this Sunday is also that very topic. And hopefully I'll bring a little something extra into this. So my topic title is Smashing Atoms, Awakening Minds. Next slide. So when we think of atoms exploding, we kind of had this idea. We know that, the atomic bomb and nuclear power, and there's so many ways that we've harnessed this energy. And we have this idea of it being moderately controllable, but once it's let loose, it can become uncontrollable, as we can imagine. Next slide. Charles Fillmore says thought is the most powerful force in the universe. And it's the power that makes and unmakes. This is from the first chapter of the book. His next slide. So when we think of the universe, we think of the many images, and you might see something similar to this when you go outside. If you have a nice dark sky area without a lot of invasive light, you could see the stars. And this is what we've always imagined, right? We look up and there are just stars everywhere. They're so far away. Next slide, please. But with NASA's James Webb telescope, we can really see that there's so much more going on in the universe than just the stars sitting up there stationary, and we're doing all the moving and spinning, and they're just sitting there. But actually, in this image, you can see form taking shape. You can see energy moving and taking form. And this is exactly what Charles Fillmore is trying to explain to us. What was that? A century ago, maybe. I don't know how long it's been since he wrote that book. I should have looked at that. But he's trying to tell us exactly what this image is showing us. Next slide. Our thoughts are powerful forces that shape our reality. That's the whole point of this book, is for us to truly understand how powerful our thoughts are. Next slide. Here's what he says that's so, so critical. In chapter 2, he says, mind is the one and only creative power. Mind is the one and only creative power. What we see outwardly is the result of what we think inwardly. This is really important to get your mind around, get your consciousness around, that mind is the one and only creative power. We often give this power attributed to a substance and a force that we call God. But mind is everything. Next slide. And we think of a light bulb as sort of the image of when we have a new idea, right? That you see those little light bulbs going off over your head. But it's a very simplistic view, just that just to put it into one image of a bulb, like it's a one-time turn it on, turn it off kind of thing. Next image, next slide, I'm sorry. So unity principle number 3, and I know you have them right there on your stage because I could see them. Our thoughts have creative power to influence events and determine our experiences. This is where we move into our power spiritually. When we really understand how very powerful our thoughts are, not just the thoughts that we are intentionally, I'm going to sit down and write an affirmation, but all of the thoughts that we are having. When we look in the mirror, when we look at someone in traffic, every thought that we're having is creative power. Next slide. So this is what we think of. We looked at the light bulb as that singular thought. And this is more what we think of as like a divine idea, right? You can hear the chorus of angels singing from the heaven when you have that moment of inspiration and you feel like you've had a divine idea. Next. Our thoughts are always creating. Just as our autonomic nervous system is always breathing. You know, we have systems in our body that we know that, you know, our muscles, we can work them and we can grow them. We can be intentional about how we move our body. But there are autonomic systems within our body that are just doing what they're doing all of the time. They're always breathing. They're always flowing our blood. They're always beating our heart. And this is how our thoughts are. They are always producing. They are always creating. This is why we need to be aware of that power that exists within our thoughts. Next slide. Just like the ocean, you know, I love nature as a metaphor for everything because nature is where we live. We live on Earth. You know, the tides ebb and flow, but Mother Nature isn't out there pushing and pulling on the ocean. The moon might be occasionally, but it's just automatically the ebb and flow and the natural rhythm of things. Next slide. So in the book, Atom Smashing Power of Mind, Charles Fillmore is really using an atom as a metaphor for breaking the limits of our thought patterns, breaking our limiting thought patterns. So as human beings, just as a rule, we are raised with limiting thoughts. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you know, you're not tall enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not whatever. We keep getting these limiting thoughts fed to us from an early age. But when we break the atom of thought, whatever that limiting thought is, when we break the atom of thought, we release the spiritual energy within it. The spiritual energy that we have contracted when we believe limiting things about ourselves, our world, our nation, one another. When we believe these limiting thoughts that we've been fed for so long, we contract. But when we finally make a conscious choice to change those limiting thoughts, we release this untapped spiritual energy. Next slide. And think of it like this, just like this. Out in the universe, there's untapped energy just being released. And you can see it practically forming in the galaxy. Next slide. Now, we're all familiar with the term neuroplasticity. I believe we are. Maybe you're not. I don't know, but maybe. But it's your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your whole life. Now, we need to take measures. We need to do things in order to keep this neuroplasticity. We need to people talk about doing crossword puzzles as you age or always learning new things. But our mind, our brain, the gray matter in our brain is very plastic. It's very regenerative. And science, to me, this is science confirming what metaphysics has been teaching forever. Because your brain is not just, oh, you're born with it and this is the way it is. You can actually improve the electromagnetic fields within your brain, and they can measure this and show it to us in scans. Next slide. So this book is awesome. If you ever have a chance to pick up a copy, it's called The Source, The Secrets of the Universe and the Science of the Brain. And Dr. Tara Swart, she's both an MD, a psychiatrist, and a PhD, a neuroscientist. So she says the brain, and I put in brackets here mind, because we really talk more about mind, but she sort of uses brain and mind interchangeably, in my opinion. The brain or mind is a prediction machine, constantly reshaping reality based on thoughts and focus. That's that neuroplasticity, right? We can learn new things. We can reshape our reality by choosing different thoughts, by choosing where we put our intentions. Next slide. So you've heard this quote, I'm sure, many times. James Redfield, an American writer, says, where attention goes, energy flows. And where intention goes, energy flows. It sounds like he's saying the same thing, but it's really not. Where our attention goes, that could be, oh, I don't feel well. Oh, just that chronic sort of commenting that we make, which can be in a negative bent. Intention is saying, you know what? Yeah, maybe I feel bad, but I'm going to look at how well I feel in other ways. I'm going to choose. So my attention can be just naturally on something, because that's what our reptilian brain does, right? It looks for danger, it looks for challenges, and it brings our attention to things where it's lacking or where it could be risky. But we can choose with our intention where we put our focus. Next slide. This is a picture of Dr. Tara Swart. She says, what you focus on is what you create more of in your brain, and we say mind, and in your life. So this is where she has, in the book, really brought together neuroscience and metaphysical beliefs, or she calls them spiritual beliefs. We call them metaphysical. This is the same, one and the same. Next slide. Now, nature, you can see the outworking of natural order in the universe. Just like we're talking about out in the galaxies, it's also here expressing in nature. Next slide. Divine order is something we hear, a lot of times people just say divine order like it's offhanded. Divine order is a real metaphysical principle of the universe. As a matter of fact, in the revealing word, it says order is the first law of the universe. Indeed, could be no universe unless its various parts were kept and expressed, I added in brackets, in perfect order. Orderliness is law, and it's the test of true science. So in that shell, next slide, as you saw, there's order in that. This is a pattern that you see repeated in nature, and I could show you 1,000 photographs of nature expressing exactly this way. Next slide. This is called the Fibonacci sequence in mathematics, the way that this expresses again and again and again. And Fibonacci sequence basically says the first two numbers there sum to the third number, and then those next two numbers sum to the next one. So you can see here, 4 and 7 is 11, and 7 and 11 is 18, and on and on and on. And that pattern of things gaining momentum with, adding to, is the natural order of things. It is divine order. Next slide. And why do I mention this to you? Because it's repeated everywhere, not only in nature, but also in our own lives. Next slide. The natural order is just the way of the universe, but you can't do anything about the fact that there's divine law that governs the universe, but you can do something about the way you participate and work with natural order. Next slide. Charles Fillmore says, when we make union with universal mind, which we call God, our thoughts are charged with divine substance. So that divine inspiration, that light bulb moment, but greater than the light bulb moment, is always there waiting for us if we will spend the time. Next slide. Doing what we know brings us in connection. I love this image because it demonstrates how that energy is moving through our mind and through our heart. It's coming to us and it's moving from us all of the time. It's energetically an exchange. Next slide. The unity principle, number 4, says prayer and meditation connect and align us to our own spiritual nature within God. We're an expression of God. Next slide. We are all an expression of God, not some of us, not only those who pray out loud, but this is another image from the James Webb Telescope. You can see formation of energy happening. What it will become, who knows? It looks like a butterfly. It's just amazing. I love these images. Next slide. But this just shows us how thought is taking shape. Lao Tzu, the author of the Tao Te Ching, said, watch your thoughts. They become your destiny. Next slide. And Buddha said it this way. All that we are is a result of what we have thought. Next slide. And in the Bible, attributed to Jesus, is this phrase, according to your faith, which is your belief, let it be done to you. So we are an outworking of our own beliefs, our thoughts, our words. That's expressing in our life all the time. Next slide. So back to this Fibonacci sequence, and you can see exactly how that repeats that pattern. Next slide. And here's what I want to bring to you today. Think about it this way, that Fibonacci sequence, if this little dot in the middle is your thought, and then you have another thought, and those two thoughts added together equal the next thought. Wouldn't you want to choose positive, loving, uplifting thoughts? Because as this outworking of nature, natural laws working to express, each time you have a thought and you choose a loving, compassionate thought, the loving and compassionate expression in your life grows. Next slide. Equally, if you're adding these loving and compassionate thoughts, and then you have a dark thought, you have a shadow thought, it doesn't even have to be that bad. It's just something that detracts from you. Then you have, just like if you were adding these numbers and then you put a minus sign in front of one, you negate the previous, and then you're not expanding to the level that you could. I hope this graphic is helpful to you because I had so much fun putting it together. I borrowed an image and added. Next slide. But you can see if you're not blocking yourself, you're just expanding that cloud of love and compassion. That thought of who you are in this world grows and expands. Next slide. So the 5 principles, if you take them to heart, they really help you get to this place where you are expressing fully, because God is everywhere present and I am an expression. We all are an expression. Our thoughts are creating all the time, and with prayer and meditation, we can stay aligned with divine truth. And we have to put truth into action. Next slide. And that's the fifth principle. Knowing and understanding spiritual law is simply the foundation. We must put what we know into action in our life. When we understand something, we can't just know it in our mind, in our head. We have to live it from our heart. Next slide. Let's look at this affirmation, and I want us to say it together. Let me say it first, and then we'll say it together. I am one with divine intelligence. My thoughts create a life of wholeness and abundance. Will you say it with me now? I am one with divine intelligence. My thoughts create a life of wholeness and abundance. Next slide. So I like to give a weekly assignment, a weekly practice. So I'm going to offer this to you. You can choose to take it or not, but observe your thoughts. Notice when you're adding to that loving, compassionate part of you, except when you don't. You know, sometimes we have a moment, we're not in our highest. Just accept that that is a reality, and then choose again. Use your own power of intention to place your attention where you want it to be and allow it to grow in your life. Next slide. Thank you for having me. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you got something out of my message today. Blessings.
And thank you, Reverend Beverly. A lot for us to think about, and affirmation around what we already know, or remembering. And now, our very special music, Monica Gomez. Thank you for being with us.
Happy to be here. With my very capable stagehand. So nice to have a professional in the house. Not too loud? Love is like a climbing vine that wraps around your soul, holding you together, keeping your heart whole. It sends out little tendrils, turns strangers into friends, who laugh and cry together, and on whom you can depend. So let that vine inside you grow, strong and without fear, until the love is flowing from your mouth and eyes and ears. Let it wrap around your heart, fill your belly and your bones. You'll be so full of love, you'll never feel alone. Sometimes love surprises us by bursting into flower, fills us to overflowing with its special power. And even if bright blooms fade and fall away, we know though time moves on, love's memory will stay. So let that vine inside you grow, strong and without fear, until the love is flowing from your mouth and eyes and ears. Let it wrap around your heart, fill your belly and your bones, and you'll feel so full of love. You'll feel